This week, Tuesday night, is Shavuot. And exactly 3,336 years ago to the date was the night before the Jews received the Torah, one of the most pivotal times in Jewish history. And something really interesting was recorded on that night. It says that the Jews fell asleep. And they didn't just sleep. The Midrash explains they had such a good sleep. It says, Shashena shalatzeres areva ba'alayla katra, that it was such a peaceful, pleasant type of sleep to the extent that the night felt short because they were enjoying so much. And it's also recorded that not a single insect, not a single mosquito bit a single Jew on that night. And so the obvious question arises. The question goes as follows. Matan Torah, the day that the Jews received the Torah, God comes to the camp and he sees the Jews sleeping in. And he sees them and he says, how can you sleep in? He wakes them up. He says, wake up. And because of this, we on every single night of Shavuot have to stay up the entire night learning Torah. Now, we know that when the Jews left Mitzrayim, when the Jews left Egypt, they were so excited to receive the Torah that they started counting down the days, 50 days until they received the Torah. It's like a little kid, counting down the days until school ends. He's marking each day as it comes. But with the Jews, every day that was getting closer to Matan Torah, every day they rose on a more spiritual level until the day of Matan Torah came. And what happens on that day? They sleep in. How can you sleep in out of excitement? How? On such a special, pivotal day. It's like the kid that's counting down the days until school ends. And what does he do on the day school ends? He comes early. How is this possible? It doesn't make sense. So in order to explain this inevitable question, we have to first explain the concept of sleep. The Alter Rebbe explains what is sleep, what happens when you go to sleep. Your neshama, your soul, goes up to heaven to connect with God. And you only have a small little fraction of the soul staying down here in this physical world, staying down here in this physical body with you. And so the Jewish people came up with a plan. They said, hey, tomorrow is Matan Torah. Tomorrow is the most pivotal time of our lives, the most spiritual time of our lives. Let us go to sleep. Let us fully connect with God before this time. And this is what it means when the Midrash says that on the night that the Jewish people fell asleep, Sheshena shalatzeres areva ba'alayla katra, that the night was short and it was a very pleasant and peaceful sleep. That the Jews, when they went to sleep, what did they want to accomplish? They wanted to accomplish having a short night, a short darkness, a short physicality, and it worked. Their soul went up to heaven to fully connect with God, and the physicality and the darkness shrunk to the extent that they had such a pleasant, peaceful night. And that not even the mosquitoes or any insects could even get next to them because their spiritual level affected the entire world around them, that not any physical creature could get even close to their level. And what does God do? God wakes them up. He says, wake up. This is not your mission. Your mission is not to be with me up there in heaven. Your mission is to be down here in this physical world, and not just to be in this physical world, to get deep down inside the darkness and pierce through the darkness. Because the reason I'm giving you the Torah is to take this physicality and turn it into spirituality, to turn it into holiness. Like we see by all the mitzvot. For example, the mitzvah of shofar. We take any ordinary ram's horn, which is very physical, and we turn it into a spiritual shofar. Or we take a physical piece of leather, the piece of leather that we're going to use for the tefillin, and we turn it into a spiritual piece of leather. We turn it into the tefillin. And so the outtake we could take from this is incredible. We can learn from this. Sometimes in life, we feel that this physical world is full of darkness to the extent that we just want to disconnect fully. And what does God say? God says, wake up. Your mission is not to disconnect, even though this world is full of darkness and you may lose hope. Your mission down here is to get into that darkness, and not just get into that darkness, to pierce through that darkness and turn that darkness, transform it into kedusha, into holiness, into spirituality. So let us all this upcoming Shavuos get through that darkness and pierce through that darkness and transform that darkness into kedusha, into holiness, into spirituality, and transform the world around us to make it a better place and to make it ready for the coming of Mashiach. May he come speedily right now. K'diyamtiv, k'diyamtiv.